This is what I used to feed my dogs. They eat something different now. But yeah, it's super common that vets will recommend Purina brands and stuff. So, how's she doing with everything else?
Good. Yeah. We took her like through Lincoln Park.
Okay.
The other day.
Sure.
Just like through like the boardwalk, so like there wasn't much room to run or anything.
Okay.
And there weren't many dogs around, but walked off leash for a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. No, like off leash loose or off leash like in the field?
Oh, tight heel.
Tight heel. Awesome.
Yeah. And then tried like Wade, go ahead, and that comes back to me.
Yep. Like,
yeah.
Turned around immediately.
Good.
Recall's working great.
Good.
She's had maybe one or two, like, you know, if I'm here again, bounce
Wrong
from
person.
Yeah.
Sure.
But
I don't know if I told you guys or if it was the other Winnie.
Yeah.
Because I have 4 Winnies right now.
Yeah.
I said if you want for that particular exercise, like when calling her away from people, or like have just food with you, use one of those times.
Yeah.
It's like differentiate them, and it's inspires her a bit more. So
yeah, because other Winnie, white Winnie, or yellow Winnie, he was working on recall, and he's just like, she's coming, but like it's taking her a while. I'm like, where you like tapping? He's like, well, I did it right when I call her, but then I don't do it again. I was like,
you gotta keep the pressure on.
Yeah. And he's like, she goes to somebody else, and then she just walks away. I was like, oh, even if she went to you, like, and we were this far apart, I'm like, until she comes right to me.
Exactly.
And he's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. He's only been to 1 lesson.
Oh, he has only?
Yeah, he's only been to 1 lesson. I saw him for the place lesson, and then we went over some stuff just to make sure that she was translating everything correctly. So that is part of it. So what we're going to do today is place command.
Okay.
Which is, I think I talked about the trifecta.
Yeah.
Walk with me, come to me, and then don't move. Okay. So it's super simple to teach. This is the don't move aspect. This is for like extended, like if you go to a restaurant, patio, friend's house, things like that. Maybe she's being a little bit rambunctious. Just give her something to do. Keep her contained for a bit. Okay. Who's gonna go first? Okay. And let's go ahead and let's grab our short leash. All right, so what we're gonna start off with first is you're gonna start about a foot away, okay? You're gonna shorten your leash by half. What's your number currently?
16.
Okay. Is that her normal number or is that the lowest number?
It's been like 14.
It's gone from like 14 to 20.
Okay.
If she's playing more with other dogs, I jump it up to 20.
Okay.
But if we're kind of just walking, I bump it back down to 15.
Okay, let's go to 12. And you may have to brace the placemat here with your foot, just because in the beginning some dogs, since it's foreign to them, will try to like push off.
Got it.
So I'll brace my foot, I shorten the leash by half. You're gonna start tapping and then pulling until all of Winnie is on the placemat. As soon as she's on it, you're gonna stop tapping. She might flush off. If she does so, you would counter her. Tapping until she gets on, stop tapping, she jumps off, pull, tap, tap. Keep repeating that process until she holds for a few seconds. Then we're gonna cue the release and break. And we're gonna move away, come back, and then repeat that process a few times, okay? Now, if you start to see Winnie prematurely going there, before you even tap, you're gonna use your leash to restrain her. Don't allow her to do so, okay? Pull her back, wait a moment. Once she's settled, tapping and pulling to lead her there. Okay? And then we're gonna gradually just work this up.
No commands, just
Not at the moment, correct. Tap, tap, tap. Oh, you're good. Tap, 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 tap. Yeah, it's good and tap, tap. There it is. Uh-oh. Tap, tap, tap. Tap. Yep, you got it. Tap.
Am I really trying to pull her on for this?
Tap. 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 Let's go to 14. And then what you can do is grab by that second handle. I think that is going to give you a bit more leverage. And this is normal.
Well, I've disciplined her to like not go on any couches.
Oh, sure. So she's probably like, is this a trick? Tap.
So
Tap. 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 Let's go to 16. Arm workout.
I know.
Tap.
Winnie.
Again. Nope. All right. I'll walk over here.
Tap. 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 There she goes. Add a girl. Wait a moment.
Girl, Winnie.
And praise.
Good
Oh, good
girl.
girl, Winnie. Good girl.
Good job. Good. And release, break.
Right, break.
Good. And repeat that 4 more times,
Winnie,
okay?
break. Come on. Winnie, break.
Pull, pull, pull. Pull, 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 pull.
Winnie, off.
Stop, she's going to get off.
Winnie, off. Thank you.
All right, ready? I didn't even hit it.
So try turning and walking away with her.
Okay. Winnie, break. Winnie, off.
There she goes. Good.
Yeah, she's just doing it.
Yeah, go ahead and turn. Yep.
Winnie, break. Off.
Tap. 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 Pull, pull, pull. There she goes. Atta girl. Good. So every time she prematurely does that, you're gonna just start pulling her off and tapping.
Okay.
Okay? Because she's
Should I step further away from it?
try one step further. What do you mean, like when walking away?
Like start tapping her and then bringing her.
Oh, from
like
further?
From here.
You can.
Okay.
Tap. There we go. Atta girl. And praise. Good job.
Girl, Winnie. Good girl. Good girl. Aw.
Good.
Break.
Break, break, break.
Winnie, off.
There she goes. Atta girl. Good. We're gonna try that 3 more times. Tap. Tap. There we go. Atta girl. And
Good
praise.
girl.
Good job.
Girl, Winnie. Good girl.
Good. Break.
Break.
Good. 2 more. Yep. Yep.
Girl, Winnie. Break.
Good.
Girl, Winnie.
Good girl.
Atta
Winnie.
girl.
Good
So now
girl.
that's easier.
Yeah.
What we're gonna do, same process, but you're gonna start sending her from different angles.
Okay.
Okay, so you're gonna walk, you're gonna say break, you're gonna walk away, come around, yep.
Okay.
Same thing if she tries to prematurely move to it, you're just gonna restrain her, or you can turn and tap to pull her away. But we're not saying heel, you're just tapping her from going there without like preemptively.
Okay.
Okay?
All right, break.
Good.
Good girl, Winnie. Good girl. Good girl. She's a good girl, Winnie.
Good.
Winnie, come.
Break. Good. 4 more. Right, so then turn.
Good girl, Win. Good girl.
Go ahead and add a stop before you do the send. So it's
Stop it. and-
yeah. So
okay.
come to a stop, wait for a moment,
And then do it.
and then go for it.
Okay. Okay, one more. Winnie, break.
There you go. That's much better. Yep. There we go.
There you
Good.
go. Good girl, Winnie.
Good girl.
Aw. Good girl. Good girl.
Good. Break.
Break.
Couple more. Good.
Good girl, Win.
Good job.
Good girl.
Good. And one more. Right. Good. Very good. And a girl.
Girl.
So we're,
Winnie. Good girl.
we're going to keep that same walk around from different angles, but now you're gonna send her from about 3 to 4 feet back.
Okay.
Okay. So you're gonna walk around, come to a stop about 3 to 4 feet away. Wait a moment, let her settle, and then kick in with the tapping with the pool.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, Winnie, break.
And a girl. Good. And a girl.
Girl, Winnie. Good girl.
Break.
Yep, there she goes. Good. And a girl.
Girl, Winnie.
Good girl, Winnie.
We could pop her down to 12 again.
Good girl, Winnie. Ready, Winnie?
Good. 3 more. Uh-oh. There she goes. Good. Add a girl.
It's a good girl, Winnie. Good girl.
Girl.
Good girl. All right, Winnie, break.
Good. Just 2 more.
Break.
Break, break, break.
Wait, go ahead.
Winnie, break.
Come on.
Winnie, pop.
There she goes. She knows off.
Good girl.
Girl. Yes. Good girl, Winnie. Good girl. Yes. Good girl. Good.
Winnie, off. Off.
You can tap her here.
Winnie, off.
Just pull and tap.
Off.
Tap. 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 Pull, pull, pull.
Winnie, come.
Tap. There she goes.
Good girl.
Add a girl. So we're going to swap handlers here.
Good girl, Winnie.
So what we're focused on right now is teaching the send. Getting Winnie to understand that another means of turning off the e-collar is to go to this object.
Got it.
And then we're going to layer in the word place after we get a few more reps in.
Okay.
What we'll do now is we're going to keep that 3 to 4 foot distance coming to that stop and holding. But instead of pulling and tapping, you're going to start tapping first, about 2 to 3, and then apply the leash pressure if needed to help her.
Okay.
Okay?
Come on. Off.
Right? Good. Yeah. Good. And a girl.
Wait, off.
And you can, pull and tap, tap, tap. There we go. Right, good. Wait a moment. There she goes. Add a girl.
Do not want me taking a step.
Yeah, that's fine. Like,
Okay.
because you just took, as long as you're not walking her there.
Okay.
Because since you're further back, you might need that extra step to get the pull in. But ideally, we're trying to keep stationary, so it's more so her
Got it.
going there.
All right, Winnie, come.
You're gonna do 3 more.
girl. Yes, yes.
There, Sean, come on, come on.
Good.
Winnie, come.
Atta girl. Good job. Right. Atta girl. Good. Good. And one more.
Alright, Winnie, come. One more.
Good.
Okay.
So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna add the word of place.
Okay.
You're gonna say place first, then you're gonna start tapping. So just exactly what you just did right now, but place first,
Okay.
then tapping, and then leash pressure if needed.
Okay.
Because we're starting to wean that off.
Got it.
Right, so we're wanting her to go through the command itself, kind of like with the recall. Remember we did the pull in the beginning?
Yep.
And then once we did a few reps, we stopped the pulling and went straight to the tapping.
Yep.
And only pull if needed. Same concept here, but now we're sending her away from us.
Okay.
Okay?
Can we use spot instead of place?
Sure.
We've kind of already started using
Yeah, no, spot's fine.
earlier.
Mhm.
Okay. Winnie, come. Winnie, go to your spot.
Good.
Girl.
And if she sends, like when you say go to your spot, if she goes no tap,
I didn't tap at all.
yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
This isn't like the recall. The recall we used to always tap, right?
Yeah.
Because we wanted to proof
Yep.
mistakes, right?
Alright. Winnie, break. Come.
Good. We're gonna do that 4 more times.
Girl. Go to your spot. Girl. Good girl. Yes, she's a good girl. Yes, yes. Break. Winnie. Come. Thank you. Go to your spot.
Good.
Girl. Break. Winnie,
Good. Just a couple more.
Go to your spot. Girl. Thank you.
Good girl. And last one.
Alright, Winnie, come.
Jeez.
Winnie, go to your spot.
Yep. That was a good hold.
Girl.
Very good. So we're gonna keep her there for a moment. So you guys been using like spot already?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So she's got some familiarity with it.
Yeah, she has like a blanket behind the. Whenever she's eating a treat that we don't want her to do it on the
Gotcha.
carpet, so.
Sure. When you send her there, like, what's the longest she's done so far?
It's mainly just
Well, it's usually when she has like a.
An
treat or like
object?
Yeah.
Sure.
treat or like a non-rawhide thing or like a messy treat.
Sure.
Just go to your spot and then she'll go and she'll
Finish it. And then,
finish it there,
Uh-huh.
and then when she's done, she'll.
Gotcha.
So it's not like we're keeping her there. It's just
Right.
do what
It's
you got to
just-
do there, and then
Right. So she
Yeah.
doesn't make a mess all over the
Yeah,
place.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you can absolutely use that for this.
okay.
Or use this for that. Except now that it's been taught formally with pressure, if she finished her bone, she wouldn't move.
She should.
Right.
Okay.
Because it's now a command. So there
Yeah.
has to be a
Right.
clear defining. Okay. Now you're off the clock.
Uh-huh.
So the reason why I do place for like the shorter class lengths is because it's the easiest to teach. So sit is very strict. Put your butt down, That's it.
Yep.
Down, the same thing. Lay down, don't move. Places, go here. I don't care if you sit, stand, or lay down. Don't move. Exactly. Just stay there. Stay within the perimeter of this area. Okay, so it's a lot more lenient. So that's why a lot of clients like this better. So like if they go to a restaurant and they tell their dog place, you know, if your dog is in a down and they break position, you have to correct them back into the down, which is a bit more tedious. Where this is just, if I just pop a towel down and I say place, sit, stand, lay down, I don't care, just don't step off of it.
Does it help to have like something that they're on?
Yes.
Okay.
So, like,
even if you're at a restaurant when you're training her, like,
you would use
bring
like
a little
something.
towel.
Correct. Because you need something that makes a perimeter.
Got it.
Okay? Because place or spot is go here, and I don't care what you do, but don't step off of it. So it's like kind of like a go to your room for dogs. Okay? So then, like, I have clients that'll bring like they keep a towel or like a blanket in their car, and then when they go to restaurants and stuff, they just pop that down, and that's place.
We're grabbing a picnic.
Exactly. Okay. So then she's sitting there, and this is meant for extended control. You know, so it can be anywhere from as short as 5 minutes to as long as 3 to 4 hours or longer, whatever is applicable to that particular person. So like when I work with clients that have just had babies, or they're going to plan to have a baby, or baby's coming soon, I'll teach this because I'll tell them when you're having, I guess it's called tummy time or something like that. A lot of dogs lay down, they come running over, right? What's going on, right? And they don't want that with the baby.
Yep.
Or, you know, they're just preoccupied with the baby as it is, changing diapers, you know, all that stuff, cleaning and everything. That's nice to just have the dog contained and not worry about what is the dog doing, right? So it makes it, and then like, I get some dogs that aren't too, they don't like the baby too much. So I'll tell the owner, I'm like, well, if your dog is contained here, then that you don't have to worry about your dog, just worry about your child, right? And then you can sit the perimeter and all that stuff, and you watch your kid, but you're not watching two, you know, moving animals, essentially. So here, here's some distraction. When you do the extended work,
Dolores, go on.
if you're doing an hour to an hour and a half at the facility, you want to do longer within the home. We're training right now. Would you go? Thank you. So if you're going to do an hour and a half at the at a diner or something, welcome to training at us. An hour and a half. I suggest you do longer within the home. Okay, because there's going to be a lot more stuff going on there. There's going to be distractions, scents, food, you know, people, the waiter, people talking to your dog, all that stuff, right? Is that you can make it more difficult within the home by doing longer periods of time. So if you know, realistically speaking, if you took Winnie to a restaurant or something, it'd be like an hour and a half at most, and that'd be like the most difficult thing she'd have to do. Then in the home, on occasion, 2 to 2.5 hours. Okay, so you're going a little bit longer because dogs are like 3 to 4 year old kids. So growing up, when we went to church, my mom was like, you have to be quiet, behave yourself, all that stuff. Like, twiddling, right? Or like fidgeting, all that stuff because you're a kid. So it's hard to keep still, but then afterwards, like she say, you know, you let the energy out, we go to the park or something like that. Same thing for the dog. Okay, so dogs typically want to move, especially like puppies and stuff. And this is a different kind of exercise. This would be mental exercise. Okay, the containment of like, okay, I can't just be impulsive and just do whatever I want anymore. I have to be here and hold this for a period of time now. Okay, so place can be anything from a towel, a blanket, her dog bed. You know, I've had people use yoga mats. I had a client that had a really large area rug, and they're like, could this be place? I'm like, yeah, it's just a really big place. So your dog will like even run laps. You know, it just cannot step off of the perimeter of that area rug. So you can have more than one place within the home. You could have one like in the living room, one in the kitchen, one in the dining room or whatever. And if you're in the living room and you said place, she would go to the one within that context. Okay, she wouldn't run, most likely wouldn't run to the one in the dining room. Okay, or you can have one that you just move around the house, and what most likely end up happening is she would recognize what that object is. So if it's like a dog bed or like a blanket, a particular blanket, and you said place in the living room, and then you decide, okay, we're gonna move it, we're gonna put it over here, she would just start to recognize, oh, place is this particular object within the home. Okay. You can also have more than one place within a room, but then you'd have to differentiate by like pointing which way or which one you want her to go to, and then you would make that a part of the training. So like if I said when you place and I wanted her to go here, I would use the leash and tapping to guide her like this, and if the one was over here, then it would be like this. You know, like you're differentiating it somehow. In terms of descent, like how far, it's really up to you. The standard is about here.
Yeah.
You know, I've only ever had like one client who wanted to send his dog to place from anywhere within the home, and I was like, that's fine, but you just have to work it backwards. Start close.
Yep.
You're gonna keep sending and going from different directions and stuff, and in different rooms, getting the dog to go.
Yep.
Until he was able to get it to where he could send anywhere within the home, and his dog would just go to one particular place. To make it easier, he just kept it the same.
Yeah.
He never moved or anything like that. So it's very, it has a lot of like variations, however you want it to apply to you. And you can always change it up too. When you go home, even though she's got a familiarity with the spot already, I would do a quick little session, like you did in the beginning, of just tapping, no words, and the pulling, to start letting her know like this is now like the object at the park. Okay, so she knows now pressure's behind that. And pressure is what's going to make it mean something.
Yep.
Okay. More than welcome to have a bone or a toy. Do keep in mind though, like let's say she's chewing on a bone and it rolls off or something, like my pit. I used to give her knuckle bones, and they're very oddly shaped, and they would roll off. And then when she was a puppy, she'd cry. And she started pining for it. So then I'd be like, oh, you can't get up, right?
Yeah.
But then she started doing it on purpose, where she would roll it off, because I would grab it and bring it back to her, so it got her some attention.
Yeah.
So dogs are sneaky like that. She also, one time, I remember I went to the kitchen like to make something, and when I came back, she was on place with one foot like this, and the rest of her body crawled
Oh my
out.
gosh.
Okay, so she knew I have to do something with contact with this object,
Right.
and she was playing that boundary, just keeping her toe on it like that. Okay, so they're very sneaky. As you keep her on there longer, you want to just keep just checking on her, see how she's doing, because you'll see the little thought process where it's like she's on the edge of the spot, then another paw, and a paw, and it's slowly just crawling and inching forward. The moment you see her looking like she's thinking about sneaking off, you would give that correctional tap to dissuade her from moving forward with that thought process.
Got it.
Okay. If we wouldn't say place, of course, you would just tap. She should reposition. Otherwise, if she were to walk off, you would keep tapping and then just lead her back if needed. Okay.
Okay, so definitely a tap, not just like Winnie, like any.
Right. So if you said like Winnie no, right,
Yeah.
she might correct.
Right.
But then what you'll find is you're going to be saying Winnie no quite a bit, because it's not in a real aversive, right? Because this is the aversive because she does not like that. So then let's say for this, you do this for a few weeks with correcting things, and you might find like, yeah, we just place her, she'll go there for 3 hours, no move, you don't even need to correct her, right? Because she's had all those aversives. Other questions?
Not off the top of my head.
There's no need to say stay.
Okay.
Stay is implied.
Got it.
The way we create that implication is when she tries to sneak off, you tap her.
Got it.
So she thinks, oh, like I'm on place. An hour goes by. I thought about walking away, but then I got a tap.
Yep.
And then it stopped as soon as I reposition myself.
Yep.
Okay, so that's what's teaching her place or spot. You need to go here and don't move until I release you. Okay. You technically have 2 releases for this, because there's the break, right?
Yep.
And then there's also off.
Yeah.
Because you may have used off for, like, I'm assuming the couch and the furniture and stuff like that. So that's technically the same thing for her. Okay, so those are both valid release commands.
Okay.
Let me think here.
How we were talking about how like we want her on the couch and we invite her up, and we want her like in her spot on the couch. With this, with the couch. Okay.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Sure. So like you could do a couple
go on your
things.
spot on the couch and stay there.
If you took your blanket or what have you, right, or another one or a towel, I've had plenty of people do that because it differentiates a particular
like
area of the
this is your
couch.
spot on the couch.
Right. Now, she will probably get some confusion in the beginning where she's gonna just generalize the couch itself, in which you would correct her and she would have to lead her back onto that particular towel or whatever it is. Okay. Other questions?
I guess like for camping, if we were in a tent, whatever, and we just have her in the back down in the corner, is this a good thing to use, like place, like so she's not getting up, like walking around like on us?
Confusion with like sleeping here.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like
Now,
falls
would this
into
be
that
like a
point anyway.
spot and then you're gonna go to sleep for the night?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're gonna do that, what I suggest is in the room, like let's say in the bedroom, if you're gonna just like hang out, watch TV or something. Does she sleep
sleeps
loose?
outside of her. Yeah, she sleeps loose now.
Okay.
She's in her bed though.
What I would do is, let's say you're just hanging out watching TV in the room, and I would get her bed or whatever and spot her. Okay. Until you go to sleep. what you're doing is you're creating a pattern of when we're in this kind of setting, you're gonna go here. So you create a pattern, right?
Yeah.
So then, and eventually you might become, or she's in that bed as you sleep, but you have to start with, because technically if she got up in the middle of the night, technically you have to correct that. Right? So,
That's what I know. It's sleep mixed
yes,
with
because I
it.
did
It's
this with
not
my
good.
kid.
Okay.
So since I used to hang out in my room a lot, she'd be in the room with me, she would be in her place, right? And eventually when she matured and I didn't have to worry about potty mistakes or anything, she had her freedom during the day. But then at night, her routine was, Dad goes to sleep on his bed, I go to sleep on my bed next to him, and I'd wake up and she'd be just there the entire night. Okay, so it's creating the pattern of when we're in this room, this is where you go. And then that would kind of transition towards, like, especially if you use that same bed or blanket or whatever for in the tent. Right? So then you go to the tent, you go and it's nighttime, you put it down, she's like, oh, we're turning in for the night. I'm supposed to go here and then go front.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Other questions?
Off the top of my head.
All right. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna do a bit more of the place with the verbal cue first. We're gonna add a little bit more distance, and then once Winnie sends, you're gonna pause for a moment. And you're gonna start walking around her, and she should hold position. If Winnie were to try to step off, simply tap and use leash pressure to guide her back on. Once she's on, you'll continue with the movement.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
Switch up or?
Yeah, we can switch.
Okay.
Winnie, break. Winnie, off.
So I'm saying tap and then say
Oh,
place.
sorry.
Say go to your spot, then she does it. Then
Yeah, so pause for a moment. Yep. Yeah, so she doesn't do that. Wait a moment.
Spot.
There you go. That's fine. Good girl.
Good girl. Good girl.
So now you'll
Oh,
do
yeah,
the walk
that's
around.
walk around.
Yeah, and you can keep the leash because in case she breaks off,
Okay.
it's like she's probably not going to move, but in case she breaks off, you have something to restrict her and lead her back. Yeah. Good. And then going to come back to her and praise. Good girl. And we're going to repeat that 4 more times.
Winnie, off.
Tap, tap, pull, tap. There we go. Good.
Place.
Good.
Hey, good girl, Winnie. Good girl. Spot.
Right, that's okay. Good.
She just doing that because of the leash, you think?
That or she's trying to keep an eye on you. Go ahead and try another lap around. See what happens. Good. Back to her side, praise.
Hey, good girl, Winnie. Good girl. All right, Winnie, off.
Good. We're gonna do 3 more.
Spot.
There she goes. Atta girl. Good send. Good. That's fine. Atta girl.
Good girl, Winnie. Good girl. Okay, Winnie,
Break.
off.
Yep. Off.
Off.
Yep. Pull. There she goes. And 2 more.
Really? Spot.
Good. Had a girl, Winnie.
Girl.
Spot.
Yeah, there you go.
Girl win.
Excellent. Good. We'll pause right there. Man,
Good girl, Winnie.
did it usually get dark at 4:30? Like before? Like I don't. Is this like new?
5:20, yeah.
Oh, it's
Definitely
5:20.
darker
Oh.
than last, but still, it's darker than last
Oh, okay.
week.
For some reason I thought it was 4:30.
Oh,
Like,
like this is
that
really
makes more
shifting
sense.
fast.
So we'll keep her here. In terms of practicing duration,
Uh-huh.
I suggest in the beginning there's two ways of going about this. There's the we do a facility teaching the system a little bit where we have columns and then we have placemats by each column, and there's a leash as a tether. So like let's say we had Winnie, we would teach her the placemat, and then right away we would take her to a column, place her, and then clip her to the tether, and then grab another dog and start training another dog. Okay, so then we'll be like 30, 40 feet away, and she's sitting there and she has enough tether to get off and walk around. Okay, so if she starts to try to sneak off, we'll tap her. In some cases, the dog gets confused and like we'll jump off and we'll keep remoting. Eventually, they hop back on again, and then we go back to what we're doing, but we're 30, 40 feet away.
Got it.
Okay, so by doing that, we're removing ourselves from the command. Okay, so the reason why we did we only did a couple of the walking to the place with Winnie is because if you always walk her when you say place, that becomes a part of the command. You always have to walk with her to send her, and I want the dog to just send when I say the word. Same thing for corrections. If you always grab the dog and lead them back, it can potentially become a part of the correction, right? So I want to make myself not a part of it, to be able to just tap and the dog self-correct even from distance, okay? So by having that tether, it allows us to cheat that system. And right away with dogs, day one, we're doing 2 to 3 hours of not moving. Now they make mistakes, of course, but that's what the whole process is for.
Right.
If we're doing step by step, for the first week, it would be Winnie on spot next to or very close by. So like let's say I'm going to watch a movie for an hour and a half. All right, I'm going to be sitting still for an hour and a half. We go spot, push down, Winnie spot, I tap, she goes, I hold onto her leash, I just step on it, whatever, and maybe 30 minutes into the movie, she tries to sneak away, I hold the leash, start tapping, guide her if I need to, I don't say anything, she goes back, I go back to watching my show. Okay, so since I'm going to be immobile for a bit, at some point she's going to get bored, she may want to get off.
Yep.
Okay, so I do that for the first week. During the first week, if we're going to get up to go do something, I release the dog first, and then I get up to go do that. Okay, if you stand up and then release, Winnie's going to pick up on the pattern of every time you stand up, you release me. So then we create a problem, she's going to assume that. Okay, so I reverse it to avoid that problem.
Okay.
The second week, same concept, Winnie's still close by, spot, and then this time you would actually get up to go do stuff, but she doesn't move. Okay, because at this point she's had enough corrections that if you get up to move and she tries to follow and you tap her, it should be a real easy correction because you've done it for a week. Then you go do what you do, come back, she shouldn't move. Week 3, Winnie's now 4 to 6 feet away from you, still with the leash on. Okay, you're getting up and walking around and stuff. She should hold that because she's got plenty of corrections, then it's easier. By the 4th week, it'd be Winnie is across the room with the leash on still, and then you're going in and out rooms, inside, outside stuff.
Off in the house.
Excuse me?
Like, do you think the leash throws them off in the house? So,
In the beginning, the reason why we do the leash is because if you try to go without it, when the dog knows when the leash isn't on, they can get away with running.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you'll start to see her running around the house when you're tapping her because she'll try every other option, but going to the place.
Yeah.
But when you have that leash, either if they start to try to do that, you have something to step on to grab to direct, or it just helps them kind of tie in what they're supposed to do a bit more easily.
Okay.
And then by the 5th week, it's okay, no leash. You can send her and all that stuff, and she should hold. Okay. This is definitely one of those, if you don't use it, you lose it. Well, it's pretty much the same with any obedience command.
Yep.
That's why application is the most important form of training. Because most people just do the training sessions, and then fast forward 2 months, they expect the training that they did to be applicable in real life. And as soon as you learn that skill, start applying it. And these little training sessions that we did here, you can do it for like maybe another 2 to 3 days, 2 to 3 minutes a piece, and she'll probably be good with the send. Okay, because that's what we're doing. We have the send, when you go here, and then we have the don't move. Okay, so those are 2 separate things, and you can work on them at the same time. Like, you know, you could do 2 to 3 minutes of sending her, and then end with like, you're not going to move for the next 30 minutes. Okay, because place isn't redundant in terms of, or spot isn't redundant in terms of repetitions and stuff, and the application of it, you could go home right now and do 2 hours, because it's just a move. And if she gets up 2 times, then she's only being corrected 2 times, but it's not repeated.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why when we were doing the repeated send, she started prematurely running because she's assuming, right? She's getting frustrated. She's like, well, I don't want to get tapped, so I'm just gonna start bolting to this.
Have you seen it where, you know, we work with her inside with the collar on, and then say we do it for 3 weeks, and then, you know, we say, okay, well, let's try without it, and we say, okay, when you go to your spot, she sits down, but then 5 minutes later, she's up walking around.
It shouldn't.
It should. Okay.
Because within the home, there's no real stimulus or stimuli. Right now, outside, I don't want the collar on because I don't know off-leash dogs running around or anything like that, right? But inside the home, because it's the same, it's just your family, right? Unless somebody were to come over, that would be a stimulus or a stimuli. So then, if you use it in that sense, where it's like maybe when he's too excited and you don't want him to like knock someone's kid over or something like that, I would place her prior to them coming over. So if they're coming at 5:30, at 5 o'clock, Winnie's already on spot.
Got it.
Okay. People tend to use it as the dog's already being a problem. They're already jumping, right? And they're so excited, it's like in one ear and out the other. With e-collar, of course, because you have that physical contact, you can get her back to reality, like, hey, you need to go back over here.
Right.
But ideally, you want to control her prior to these things happening. And then, depending on the dog's personality type, I've had clients who like just really drilled place. They liked it a lot. They used it and guess from over and stuff, but it didn't take time. Where they didn't need the collar within the home to use that command. The dog was pretty solid. It wasn't 100%, but it's the home. Like I'm not worried about the dog running away. Outside, you know, I've had to get other clients say I'm past the collar, but I just think, well, if there's an emergency, you have that as a possible option. That I want the collar. Okay, so it can work a number of ways. I think with Winnie and what I've seen from her, she seems to be a very cautious dog who doesn't want to be tapped. And I would say if you practice for like 3 weeks and stuff, and you just drilled it, I don't see why it wouldn't be like, for the most part, like really reliable. Okay. Other questions?
I feel like it'll be easy to practice like working from home. Just have her, you know, like he's sitting there at the desk, so like
for sure.
That's plenty of time that you could be like having her spot. So yeah.
And you can do as long as you want. You know, it's not, dog sleep 16 to 20 hours a day. You're just picking where she's doing it. You know, and then in terms of like applying, if like, because some people like, I would only really use this out at a patio. You know, then I tell them that's fine. Just work on it in the home, get the reliability up, and then just practice it on occasion so you don't end up going to a patio, you know, once summer comes and then you didn't practice it, you know, come winter and spring, and then you're expecting your dog to be really reliable. It's going to be a problem because there's so much stuff going on.
I need patio season, so when you will have to wait till next year.
Yeah. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay. So she did a good job. Pretty simple stuff. For the 6th class, just think about what you want to cover.
Okay.
It's typically like an overview for a lot of people, making sure we're remembering everything correctly. If you want to learn another command or something, you know, because there's technically sitting down. Did we ever cover stay? Like a formal stay?
We did it out of like heel.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So you technically have recall, heel, stay, and place. So that's just sitting down. Sit's easy to teach. Down's a little bit more.
I don't want to say she's great at it, but if I tell her sit, she usually sits.
Okay.
And that with or without the collar.
Okay.
And I mean, but like, so if we wanted to work on like sit, would it just be sit like light taps or?
It'd be sit, upwards pressure. Remember with the auto sit?
Yeah, okay.
It's the same concept,
Yeah.
but now you're saying sit first before you're doing that.
Got it.
And I wouldn't do that in the heel. I would do that as your free, what I call free motion walking, where you're just like moving around, not making sense.
Yeah.
And then you cue sit, start tapping, and you pull up.
Got it.
She puts her butt down, and I just keep moving, so that I don't. Because a lot of times people stop when they say sit, so the dog becomes very dependent on that whole motion.
Got it, okay.
And then what I like to do it while I'm moving, so the dog just doesn't include me in the equation.
Got it.
And they just sit when they come. So, okay. If you wanted to do down, I would suggest for this week, use food, even if she already knows it, and revisit it using food to down her. Okay? So that we can lay a remote over it, because that's not as simple as the sit. Okay, that takes a little bit more work. And then if you did food during this week, at least 2 to 3 sessions a day, it'll primer so that for the class, it'll be a lot easier to layer remote over.
Yeah, I mean, with food, she's very good at that.
Yes.
Especially in our place with hardwood, so
Sure.
she typically just slips it down anyways.
Gotcha. Sure. Yeah, so then layering remote would make it mean something.
Okay.
So that would be like if you don't have anything to lay down as a place, you have the down.
Got it.
Okay.
Are there any other like commands, like popular ones that people use that we're just not thinking of?
The 6 family pet commands are sit, stay, down, come, place, heel. Okay. So we did heel, recall, stay, place. That leaves the sit, which I just told you.
Down.
And the down. Okay. The other one, there's finish, but that's just a fancy one, and that takes time. That takes like multiple, because you have to shape a very specific movement. Finish is like, so if we call Winnie, like I don't care where she lands, right? And then I just say heel and I start walking. Finish is you call Winnie, and when she's like this far, I say finish, and she'd whip around and she'd come to my left side and position herself in a heel.
That's cool.
So you can just go into a straight heel. Yeah.
Not
so
necessary.
It's not family pet. The 4 that you have are the ones that you can pretty much do anything with Winnie. You can walk her anywhere, you can take her anywhere off leash and have your recall, and then this gives you that stationary control. The sit and the down are just additional things.
Right.
But those 3, the recall, the heel, and the place, are like the most commonly used.
Okay.
Okay? Anything else?
Just ideas for next week though. Like if you were, I'm assuming like going on hikes the same as any walk. Like is there any specific thing that people are wanting to like hike with their dogs?
No. I mean, because you have the loose heel and then you have the tight heel.
It's all the
The
same.
loose heel is when you're walking with her, she's just being a dog.
Yeah.
Right? But she's staying within your perimeter.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, I see a deer. When you come, heel. Then you do the tight heel because now we have a stimulus.
Yep.
Okay. So it's just knowing how to apply those things. Which is, it's pretty simple. If there's something that you think would get, like if I was walking with Winnie and it was loose, and I saw like a crowd of people here, like little individual groups having picnics, I wouldn't loose heel her here because you're gonna run everybody. Heel, right? Put the tight heel on so I can maneuver, and I'm not worried about her going up to people. And then once we're past that, break, and then she's back into loose heel again. Okay. So the only other thing I would think of, which is super simple, is if she were to be off leash, I don't like dogs, me personally, to be further than 20, 30 feet away. Okay. Unless like I'm in a setting like a Travis where there's like dogs playing and stuff.
Right.
But if I'm walking my dogs off leash, I want to keep them within a certain perimeter. Is if she got out of that perimeter, I wouldn't call her. I would simply tap her. Okay. And you just keep moving and you ignore her. And you do a low level tap, and what that tap is saying is too far. Okay. So it's not a come command, because come is here. It's just you're too far, come in a little bit closer. Okay, and then what you'll see is she'll start to just keep a natural perimeter around you. And then whenever you're walking, if she's like sniffing something, you'll see her check and then right away run to you or run into the perimeter because she's trying to stay within that bubble.
Got it.
Okay. And that's just more like nuanced e-collar stuff, which is super simple.
I feel like she even did that when we were in Swamp.
Yeah, she did.
Like to the point where she'd run up, she'd sniff around, and then we'd come up to her, she'd be sniffing over there, and she'd come trotting back to us. We wouldn't have to. So she just stayed
naturally. Yeah. So that's what the e-collar. When we did the recall stuff, that creates what I call body awareness. Okay. And it's because she's thinking every time I'm X distance of you, I usually get called to you. Right. So she's trying to avoid that, so they tend to stay within that bubble.
Yeah, and that's I've noticed like we'd be playing with in the park and throwing the ball. Yeah. And if I do call her over, throw the ball again though, she goes about 15, 20 feet, stops, turns back around, and lets the ball go.
She's very cautious.
Gotcha.
So,
sure. Yeah.
So then it's just like, she's like, and then I've noticed too, like, if I throw the ball this way and I call her from this way, and then I start throwing it this way, she's fine going that way, but she thinks going this way she's going to get called in.
Gotcha. Oh, sure.
So she's just preemptively. So, I mean, I haven't had to use it very often, but like there are times where I call her back over, really naturally. But then it's just like, okay, now like go play, and then she's just like stuck by my side.
Yeah, and if that happens, I just ignore her. And then over time, because right now you've had to do a lot of remote to teach everything. But once you go to application, you start seeing her like doing things without needing the tap. They'll start to loosen up because it's not as strict as it was in the beginning.
Right.
You know, so you have the function, the reliability of it. The dog's not getting as disciplined, so they start to ease up a bit. And it's really just tapping in case something happens.
Right.
And then a lot of those things will go away, like the whole sticking to you.
Yep.
So,
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Awesome, guys. Good job. She's
Thank
doing
you.
really good.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can do that for next class.
Yeah.
So if you want to do the down.